How's it going, guys? My name is Damien. Welcome back. Bringing you my Arrow Episode 8 review of Season 4. This was actually a much better episode, the continuation of the crossover from last night's Flash episode. A lot went down in this episode, so let's get right into it. Feel free to leave comments down below, share your thoughts and opinions, and if you dislike something that I say or maybe disagree with my opinion on something, please leave a comment. If you're going to dislike the video, at least leave a comment so I have an idea as to why you did, because on my Flash video, I had a few people dislike it right away, I assume, and there wasn't really any comments to actually explain why they did. So if you can do that, that would be really cool. I'd really appreciate that. So let's get right into the review. Let's talk about it, and you guys should be more active on the comments. Like, if you're watching this video and you want to hear what I have to say, let's try to have like an open conversation about it. Let's talk about different things that happened on the show. So many things to talk about. Where to begin? Well, I guess the best place to start is Barry having to take things into his own hand and run back in time. And why I'm starting with that is because that is basically the biggest thing that happened in the episode. It changed all the events completely, because Oliver and Felicity would have been in a completely different position if that hadn't happened, and Kendra would not have been able to do what she did. She would not have unlocked her true potential, and everyone would be dead. So realistically, that was the biggest thing that happened in the episode. I actually really liked the episode, though, because it was really cool to see all of these DC heroes come together like that. There hasn't been anything like that done since Justice, which was the episode of Smallville Season 6, Episode 11. And this was the first time that I've seen this many heroes come together. Hawkman, Hawkgirl, The Flash, Green Arrow, Speedy, Black Canary, like they're all together on this one. There's this one scene where they're all standing next to each other after they're taking on Vandal Savage. So that was really cool. I really like that. Now, there's some big side stuff going on in this episode. Some really, really big side stuff that I think should be mentioned here. Obviously, Oliver confirming that he has a son, getting to meet his son, talk with him, and keeping that secret from Felicity after Barry changes time. That is really, really huge. It's really huge because what that is going to continue is a storyline regarding who Oliver visits, whose grave Oliver is going to visit, rather, in the future. Now, the way I see it, after the events of tonight's episode, there's only 3 potential people it could be. And I'm saying 3 only because I'm giving one person a possibility, when realistically I only see 2 options. It is either going to be Oliver's son that dies or Felicity that dies. Now, I can tell you that there's a lot of people that hope Felicity die. And there's a lot of people want her to die. That's clear. A lot of people would also like, or are assuming that it's going to be Oliver's son. Now, either way, however it plays out, it's going to change Oliver's character completely, because I imagine that by the time this happens, because it's 6 months in the future, so, and we don't really know where, even though that episode shows 6 months from now, we can't really properly gauge where the show is timeline wise to match up with that 6 months, but I'm going to assume that we're within the first month now. So there's 5 months to go. Let's just say, if we were to go with it that way, that there's 5 months to go until someone is going to die and that grave scene will come up. Now we'll see how they play it all out, but this is going to change Oliver a lot, because this relationship that he's going to be building with his son, naturally Felicity is going to find out at some point. He's not going to be able to keep it from her forever, so she's going to find out, and it's going to affect the landscape of multiple people involved in this entire relationship, because even side characters are affected in minor ways, because they could potentially be in a place that they wouldn't normally be. Maybe they went to talk with someone that they wouldn't normally talk with, or they were in the wrong place at the wrong time because of the events that unfolded. But realistically, Oliver and Felicity are going to have some really rough times ahead, considering now that he is going to lie to her about his son. He's not going to tell her whenever he's going to see his son. He's going to make something up. And it's going to be interesting to see how they handle all of that. But that's really all I wanted to say about Oliver meeting his son. I think I thought it was great that he was able to have some time with his son, like actually meet him. And set up regular visits now. So he'll be going to Central City to see his son ever so often, and that's really cool. Now, moving forward, the other big things that happened during this episode, again, they're continuing to set up Legends of Tomorrow. So naturally, Kendra had to unlock her full potential so that her and Hawkman can officially go to Legends of Tomorrow. So that story arc is pretty much done, and we can see that Vandal Savage he's not gone. He's not dead, of course. That's ridiculous. He is going to come back. He's always there in the comics. He's just the guy that never really goes away for a long time. So he'll be back, and we see the very end scene right after Oliver has time with his son. It's Malcolm Merlyn. I'm never going to call him Ra's al Ghul. It's just not going to happen. But Malcolm Merlyn is able to, well, he retrieves some of Savage's ashes, and I imagine he has some intention, something he's going to do to bring him back. So it'll be interesting to see exactly what he does as well, how they're going to play that out. But it'll have to happen at some point, like relatively soon, because it's going to set up, well, maybe not, because they're going to time travel on Legends of Tomorrow, but I'm not sure how early they're going to introduce that story, because we've been seeing trailers. We don't exactly know what the episodes are going to play out like. So just speculation at this point, but I imagine Vandal Savage will be back very soon in one of the shows at some point without time travel in the 70s. So present day Vandal Savage, you should realistically expect a return there. Now, Barry actually had some big scenes in this episode. He did a lot, and it's really great because the crossovers are really starting to feel a lot more natural now, feeling like they're blending everything really well. And I said this last night in my review of The Flash. I'm liking the way they handle the crossovers. I'm liking the way they connect the characters, and the way everyone was able to come together tonight was really, really fantastic. I think they also were able to give Cisco some very important screen time, some dialogue with Kendra that was responsible for her unlocking her full potential. Things like that just go a long way with me. Now, Barry changing time. This is really, really huge because every time he does this, something different happens. And I'm really, really wondering if him going back in time is the reason that Felicity or Oliver's son or whoever will be dying. It seems like that's how they're kind of going. They're going in that direction. That's what they're kind of pushing for. So I fully expect something like that to go down. But Barry, if I, like, every time I think about the Flash, Barry Allen, having his power, I'd want to change time all the time. It would be something that you'd always want to mess with. So he really has to weigh just the risk and the reward of doing something like that, because you just don't know what is going to change. But in this situation, in tonight's episode, he really had no choice. It was either do that or Central City is gone. And it was kind of, once Barry mentioned seeing the mirror image, the speed mirage of himself, you pretty much knew he was going to time travel, because the way Oliver went down, Oliver got killed, everyone from Team Arrow and Team Flash started dying off. You pretty much knew, okay, yeah. Well, at least I expected a scene like that once he mentioned something about time traveling, and then Cisco said, no, don't do it. So it was pretty much expected, and I knew a scene like that was coming, but the way they handled it, well done, because Vandal, he just destroyed them all, and then Barry had no choice but to travel back. It's always nice to see that surprised look on his face when he does travel back. Really, really good stuff there. And I've been enjoying the scenes with Vandal Savage. I hope they do more. Obviously, we're going to see a lot during Legends of Tomorrow, but I imagine there's going to be a lot of downtime on that show too, where they're tackling other things that they have to deal with, other metahumans, other criminals, things like that. So, and also advancing their own personal storylines and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle that show, because since it's coming out in January, I imagine it's probably going to have like a half season kind of air. So you might see about 11 to 12 episodes, maybe 13, something along those lines. But I think that's safe to as far as a guarantee. You're going to get at least that many episodes out of it. So hopefully they do something cool with that. And then season 2, they come back and they push for a full season. But yeah, leave likes on the video, comment down below, share your thoughts and opinions. It was a really, really good episode. Oliver's character continues to have growth. They've been doing a really, really good job developing a lot of these characters, and I hope they continue. Malcolm Merlyn, I guess, would be the one lacking character, the one lacking storyline on the show, because his character, you don't really get to know what he's been up to. They haven't really focused on him a lot. I guess that's just due to the fact that Ra's al Ghul was like the big bad for season 3, and they're kind of pushing for Damien Dark this season, and we'll see just if they give Malcolm Merlyn some more time, because we don't really know what he's been up to. So I expect there's going to be some episodes with him at some point, at least where his character is kind of the focal point, and we'll kind of see just what exactly has been going on with him. Diggle didn't really have much in this episode, neither did Thea or Speedy. So those are the kind of the characters that took a little step back until the end. This time they teamed up properly, and they were all there, and that was really, really good. So yeah, hopefully they continue their momentum. Shows are going on break pretty soon. Next week should be the last week for Arrow and Flash until they come back in January. So there will be no scenes or episodes airing for a couple weeks, and I guess we'll go from there when they come back. So my name is Damien. Thank you for listening. Leave comments, likes, subscribe if you're new, and as always, have a good day. Thank you for watching. I appreciate the support on the channel, on both my channels. It means a lot more than I can possibly express. So I will see you guys tomorrow night for the Vampire Diaries, and that is all from me.